What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jeremy from Randolph Running Club, and I'm back again today to talk to you guys about, as you saw in that intro, the Altra Rivera 2s. So these are a pair of Altras that I've had for a little bit of time now. Been running in them for probably a month and a half or so, gotten them up to a little over 40 miles. So I think I finally have enough foot time in them to really give you guys my full thoughts on the shoe and how I've been jiving with them and getting along. So let's get started with it. Straight up into the upper of these shoes. It's an engineered mesh upper. So like a lot of different types of shoes from various brands, feels pretty decent. It conforms to the foot pretty well. But it does have a kind of like plasticky feel to it that I kind of can't explain. It's really odd. Yeah, I got them right here in front of me now. It's very interesting. I feel like maybe I've been running in too many knit shoes, you know, fly knit, prime knit, those kind of things, right? But I just found that the upper felt kind of hard, if that makes sense, right? And it wasn't an issue. It didn't cause me any hot spots or anything. It's just a really solid upper that kind of feels that old school kind of material, almost like lawn chair material or something of that nature, if you guys have ever experienced that. But all in all, no complaints, just an all around decent upper. And what I really liked about these, like all Altras that I've experienced at least, is even though this is the slim foot Altra shape as they claim on their website, I found that the toe box was extremely wide, especially compared to some other brands that I'm like more familiar with running in, like Asics or Nike. Just a very accommodating shoe. I was actually able to go down a size. I usually wear 14s in other brands, but I wore a 13 with this Altra Rivera 2, and I had no issues at all with any kind of spacing. My toes had plenty of room to splay during my running form, well, as I was running through my running gait cycle. So all in all, just a very solid upper, and no real issues with it. Now moving on to number 2, the midsole. This is the Altra Ego Foam. And it's got a 26 millimeter stack height, and that's all the way around. So that's from the heel to the forefoot of the shoe, because the shoe has a 0 millimeter drop, which is kind of what Altra is known for. Their kind of philosophy there is that the 0 millimeter drop allows you to run in the most natural way. I mean, if you think about the way your foot is actually set up, your foot doesn't have, a 10 millimeter heel to toe drop. It's pretty much flat all the way around, aside from like your arch. So Altra's thinking is that by running in a shoe that kind of has a similar feel to your normal foot strike, your normal foot shape, you're essentially going to get kind of that barefoot running benefit there. You're gonna work your Achilles a little bit harder, you're gonna strengthen your calves, etc. I think this is probably their lowest stack height shoe at 26 millimeters. Everything else is, over 30, I believe. Excuse me. So, I would say with that in mind, this shoe feels pretty low to the ground. It feels kind of Saucony Kinvara-esque in feel, immediate step in. It's soft, but it's not really like a plush feeling. It definitely feels on the firmer side, but still has a little bit of enough give for you to say, okay, this is a running shoe. This is something I can take for multiple miles. So if you're a person who really likes that ground contact feel, you like to feel like you're low to the ground when you're cornering and you have that stability, I think this shoe really provides that for you very well. And yeah, all in all, just the midsole does feel pretty solid there. Nothing to write home about, but step-in feel is good, and you do get that slight plushness. The outsole is Altra's foot pod construction, so it has rubber in key high wear areas and some exposed midsole. I think it's holding up pretty well with no visible wear, and the grip has been really great thus far. I'm actually gonna hold the shoe up so you can see the outsole after about 45 miles in this shoe and kind of what that pattern looks like. But all in all, I would say, the shoe feels really good still. The grip has been awesome. I've run in these in the rain a handful of times, like a misty Bay Area, California morning without any real issues. And I find that, I'm not seeing enough wear for me to really have any concerns over durability. I think this rubber is protecting the midsole very well. So now let's move to the on the run feel. This is an 8.8 ounce shoe, which is really in that kind of sweet spot for a daily trainer, which I truly believe this shoe feels like on foot, just kind of classical daily trainer. It's just the fact that it's zero drop is kind of the only big difference there. I find that it feels pretty good at most paces. I've done some strides in this shoe where, you know, I was taking it up to maybe like 550 pace per mile for at least, you know, like 20 seconds or so, kind of getting that sprinting in. I've also done some tempo work, some fartlek runs, very, very easy daily miles since I've been kind of recovering from the Berlin Marathon and getting back into the swing of things. And I think the shoe feels pretty good at all these paces. Like I said, you know, it has that very close to the ground feel, and it is a little bit on the firmer side compared to some of the other shoes that I've been running in recently, like that Nike Zoom X Invincible or the Streak Flies, for instance. But with that being said, I do find that the shoe, it feels soft enough that I think I could take it up to somewhere around maybe 10 miles or so. I don't think it quite has the impact protection to be a really great long run shoe. If you're a lighter runner, maybe you can get away with it. But I think for me, I just start to bottom the shoe out after I've been on my feet in them for an hour and a half, 2 hours or so. So somewhere around 10 miles, maybe even up to like a half marathon would be kind of the limit for me personally. But like I said, if you're a lighter runner than me, maybe your mileage may vary and you can take them on longer runs. And again, you know, the toe box feels great, lots of toe splay. So it allows for a very natural running form. You guys might not have seen my previous Ultra review for the Ultra Duo 1.5, and I can link that up here in this video. But I find that when I run in these Ultra shoes, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like it almost helps my form, makes me turn into more of a mid to 4 foot striker. It makes me feel like I'm running like Kipchoge, honestly. Like, it just, you know, when you're watching one of those like really elite marathon runners and you see the form and you're like, man, these guys, like their legs, they're kicking all the way up and they're on their toes. When I run in Ultra shoes, that's really kind of how I feel. So I enjoy running in these shoes and kind of adding them into my rotation to complement other shoes that I'm currently running in. And that's kind of the way that I use them. So anyway, that's kind of the on the run feel. Sorry for ranting there a little bit. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the value of the shoe. These are $130. That's about what I paid for them. And, you know, I think that's about the right price for this shoe. It's the right price for a daily trainer type of shoe that you can do most of your miles in. Maybe not the longest of miles, maybe not race in, but like 80% of the stuff that you're doing is going to happen in this type of shoe. And I think, you know, it's kind of no frills. It's a little on the boring side. There's nothing really crazy innovative going on here, but that's okay. You know, I think that crazy experimental stuff, you know, carbon plates and shoes that have like some weird geometry and all that, that's great to experiment with when you're trying to optimize and get that extra pace on a run. And I think running in a shoe like this on a day-to-day basis kind of helps you strengthen those muscles so that when you do put on your crazy shoe, you know, your Alpha Fly or, you know, whatever it is that you race in, maybe it's the Ultra race shoe, right? When you put those on race day, this shoe has made you so strong that whatever perks those shoes give you, you're really gonna shine, you're really gonna take those in on race day. So boring and no frills is not a bad thing at all. I think $130 isn't too bad. I do know Ultra tends to have these on sale, especially once they're bringing in the new model, and these have been out for a while. So once the Rivera 3 comes out, you'll be able to grab these for like $100 or even less, which I think is a great price for these. And yeah, I think it's just a nice way for you to kind of go into that Ultra ecosystem, see if the zero drop philosophy actually works for you. You know, last but not least, I do think, just based on the wear of these, that they are a good value in the sense that I think they'll last a long time. You know, I've got about 45 miles in these, but there's zero wear that I can see on the shoe looking at it right now. And I just think that this is a shoe that can take you into the long haul, that you will be able to wear for, you know, 400, 500 miles, especially if you're a lighter person who's not like myself, you know, bottoming out the shoe and kind of tearing it up. So you like, I guess in that case, you might even be pushing closer to 1,000 miles, you never know. So at that rate, I think that Ultra makes a high quality product, and 130 is the right price there. So those are kind of my thoughts on this shoe. You know, I think I've always kind of been a little curious about Ultras. So when I saw these come out, I thought it would be a nice thing to add to my rotation. I think I definitely would buy them again based on my experience. But, you know, let me know if you've run in these. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to chat with you. It'd be great to see, you know, if you've experienced them as well. And of course, if you like the channel, if you like this content, like this video, drop a comment, subscribe, etc. It can only help, and it'll help you see more of this content as it comes out. And last but not least, I hope that you stay blessed, inspire others, and continue to stay safe out there on your runs. All right, and I'll see you in the next time. All right.